The morning sun cast long shadows across the United Nations Space Command headquarters in Geneva as Lieutenant Amy Carter rushed through the corridors. Her boots clicked against the polished floor as she hurried to the emergency meeting. Just hours ago, Earth's quantum detection arrays had picked up something that would change human history forever. Alien ships approaching the solar system. They're slowing down near Jupiter's orbit, Admiral Paul Henderson announced as Amy entered the command center. The large screen showed several bright dots moving in formation. These weren't asteroids or natural objects. They moved with clear purpose and precision. Amy took her place at the military intelligence station, her brown eyes fixed on the incoming data. As Earth's leading expert in theoretical alien combat tactics, she had spent years preparing for this moment. Yet now that it was here, her heart raced with both excitement and worry. "Sir, the lead ship is broadcasting on multiple frequencies," reported Kevin Walsh, the communications officer. His fingers flew across the holographic controls. "They're using basic mathematical sequences. I think they're trying to establish contact." The room fell silent. Humanity's first contact with alien life was about to begin. Admiral Henderson straightened his uniform. "Send the response package we prepared. Let's show them we're ready for peaceful communication." Within minutes, the aliens responded. Their message came through in perfect English, translated by their advanced systems. "Greetings, Earth. We represent the Galactic Council. Request permission to send diplomatic vessel." The next 12 hours were a blur of activity. The UN Security Council met in emergency session. Global leaders were awakened in the middle of the night, and military forces worldwide went on high alert. Just in case, they agreed to allow a single diplomatic ship to approach Earth, while the rest of the alien fleet remained near Jupiter. Amy spent those hours analyzing every piece of data they could gather about the alien ships. Something about their formation bothered her, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. The diplomatic meeting was set for noon the next day at the newly completed International Space Station Alpha, which had been designed with the possibility of alien contact in mind. Amy found herself aboard one of the shuttles heading up to the station, part of Earth's carefully chosen first contact team. The alien ship that approached was beautiful. It gleamed like polished silver, with graceful curves that seemed to ignore the usual rules of spacecraft design. As it drew near the station, Amy got her first good look at their visitors through the observation window. The aliens called themselves the Arctians. Their ambassador, Zeekstl, stood nearly 7 feet tall with skin that shimmed in different shades of blue. He, at least Amy thought it was a he, had 4 arms and moved with unusual grace in the zero gravity of the station's meeting room. "We bring greetings from the 1,000 species of the Galactic Council," Zeekstl said through a small device that translated his complex tonal language. "We have watched your world's development with great interest." Something in the way he said it made the hair on the back of Amy's neck stand up. She glanced at the tactical display on her wrist computer, which showed the positions of all ships in the solar system. The alien fleet near Jupiter had shifted slightly. To most people, it would look random. But to Amy's trained eye, it was anything but random. "Ambassador," she spoke up, even though she was supposed to remain quiet during this initial meeting. "Your fleet near Jupiter has moved into an attack formation." The room went dead silent. Zeekstal's skin flickered with patterns of darker blue, surprise, perhaps, or anger at being caught. "An interesting assumption," the alien ambassador said smoothly. "Our ships merely adjust positions constantly for optimal communication relay." But Amy wasn't backing down. She stood up and walked to the main display screen. "With respect, Ambassador, I've spent my career studying theoretical space combat tactics. Your ships have taken positions that give them firing solutions to Earth's major cities and military installations. They're spread out to avoid counter-battery fire, and they've positioned themselves to cut off our fastest acceleration vectors." Admiral Henderson's eyes narrowed as he looked at the tactical display. Amy could see him running the calculations in his head, coming to the same conclusion she had. Zeekstul's skin now pulsed with rapid patterns of dark and light blue. You seem very paranoid for a species that has barely reached its own moon. Not paranoid, Amy replied calmly. Prepared. Just as we're prepared for the 3 small ships that have been trying to hack into our quantum defense networks for the past hour. This time, the ambassador's surprise was obvious. The Arctians hadn't expected humans to be able to detect their stealth ships, let alone track their cyber attacks. Admiral Henderson stood up slowly. I think, Ambassador, we should be honest with each other. You came here expecting to find a primitive species that you could quietly subjugate. Instead, you found us. And we've been preparing for this moment for a very long time. The Admiral pressed a button on his comm unit. Across the solar system, hidden defense platforms powered up. Quantum radar arrays, far more advanced than anything the Arctians had detected, revealed dozens of Earth ships that had been hiding in plain sight. Perhaps, Henderson continued, we should start this conversation over. As equals. Zeekstul's skin had turned a pale, almost white blue. Through the observation window, Amy could see the alien diplomatic vessel powering up its weapons. But she wasn't worried. Earth's ships had them targeted long before they made their first move. You don't understand what you're doing, Zeekstul said, his translator struggling to keep up with his rapid speech. The Galactic Council does not tolerate resistance. We are a civilization of 1,000 worlds. Amy smiled slightly. And we are humanity. We've spent our entire history preparing for threats we couldn't even see yet. Every war, every conflict taught us something. While you were building your empire, we were building our defenses. We didn't reach for the stars immediately because we were busy making sure we could protect them when we got there. The standoff lasted for several tense minutes. Finally, Zeekstul spoke again, his tone different now. It seems we have miscalculated. Perhaps we should indeed restart these discussions on a different footing. But Amy could see in the alien's posture, in the way his hands kept moving toward his communication device, that this wasn't over. The Galactic Council had come to Earth expecting an easy conquest, finding instead a civilization that could match, and possibly exceed. Their military technology would not sit well with them. As the first contact meeting broke up, Amy looked out at Earth floating below them. She knew that this was just the beginning. The real test would come when the Council decided how to deal with a humanity that refused to bow down. She pulled up the classified files on her secure tablet, the ones detailing humanity's true military capabilities. The Arctians had seen only a fraction of what Earth could do, and Amy had a feeling they would be seeing a lot more very soon. The first shots hadn't been fired yet, but the war had already begun. It would be fought with technology, with strategy, and with the one thing humanity had learned to excel at over its violent history, surviving against all odds. As she headed back to the shuttle that would take her to Earth, Amy sent a coded message to Defense Command. First Contact Protocol Alpha. They came as conquerors. Activate the Aegis Protocol. The real show was about to begin. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Catherine Walsh stood in front of a massive holographic display. The chief weapons engineer of Project Aegis watched as red dots representing the Arctian fleet moved closer to Earth. But she wasn't worried. In fact, she was smiling. Time to show them what we've been working on for the past 20 years, she said to herself, entering commands into her console. Around her, the underground facility hummed with energy as systems that had been hidden for decades came to life. Admiral Henderson's face appeared on one of her screens. Catherine, is the Aegis system ready? Yes, sir, she replied, pushing her gray-streaked hair back from her face. All hidden platforms are powered up, and our stealth systems are working perfectly. The aliens still have no idea what they're really looking at. The Admiral nodded. Good. Lieutenant Carter's report from the space station confirms our suspicions. The Arctians aren't here for peaceful contact. They're here to conquer. Show me what we've got. Catherine pressed her hand against a DNA scanner, and new displays lit up around her. They showed Earth's true defensive capabilities. technologies that even most of humanity didn't know existed. First, she said, pointing to a cluster of small satellites, we have our quantum-shifted stealth platforms. They don't just block radar or visual detection. They actually shift slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. To the Arxian sensors, they simply don't exist. She brought up another display. Then there's our combat AI system. We took a different approach from traditional artificial intelligence. Instead of trying to make it think like a human, we taught it to think like every great military commander in history at once. It can run 1,000,000 battle scenarios in the time it takes to blink. The Admiral's eyes widened as Catherine showed him more of Earth's hidden technologies. Self-repairing ships covered in billions of tiny robots that could fix damage in seconds. Weapons that could target the weak points in enemy shields by analyzing quantum fluctuations. Communication systems that couldn't be intercepted or jammed because they operated outside normal spacetime. How did we keep all this secret? Henderson asked, shaking his head in wonder. Catherine smiled. The same way we've always done it. By hiding in plain sight. Remember those failed space program tests over the past decade? Each one was actually testing a piece of this technology. The public thought they were watching rockets explode. They were really watching us perfect our defensive systems. Alarms suddenly blared through the facility. On the main screen, they could see the Arxian fleet breaking formation near Jupiter. They're making their move, Catherine said, her fingers flying over the controls. Looks like they're sending in their stealth ships first, probably hoping to take out our defense systems before the main attack. Admiral Henderson straightened his uniform. Time to show them why you don't pick a fight with humans. Activate the Aegis protocol. Catherine entered her command codes, and across the solar system, humanity's hidden technology went to work. Near Mars, cloaked human ships detected the incoming Arxian stealth vessels. The aliens thought they were invisible, but to Earth's quantum sensors, they might as well have been lighting up the sky with fireworks. Enemy ships entering targeting range, reported Kevin Walsh from his station. Combat IA suggests they'll try to slip past the outer defense grid using Jupiter's magnetic field as cover. Catherine nodded. Exactly what our simulations predicted. Activating countermeasures now. Across the solar system, dozens of hidden platforms came to life. They didn't fire weapons. They did something far more interesting. Each platform generated a quantum field that forced everything within its range into normal spacetime. The Arxian stealth ships suddenly appeared, their cloaking technology useless against science they didn't even know existed. Send them a message, Admiral Henderson ordered. Let them know we can see them. Catherine typed quickly, and a simple text message was sent to the exposed Arxian ships. Your stealth technology is ineffective. Please turn back. The response came in the form of weapons fire. The Arxian ships, realizing they had been detected, launched an attack on what they thought were Earth's primitive defense satellites. But their energy beams passed right through the holographic decoys. The real defense platforms, hidden by quantum shift technology, remained untouched. Should we return fire? Kevin asked, his hand hovering over the weapons controls. Catherine shook her head. No need. Watch this. The nanite clouds they had seeded throughout the solar system weeks ago went to work. Invisible to normal sensors, the microscopic robots swarmed over the Arxian ships. Within minutes, the aliens found their weapons systems offline, their engines sputtering, and their communications blocked. How? Admiral Henderson started to ask. We learned from Earth's smallest creatures, Catherine explained. Like ants building massive colonies or bees working together in perfect harmony. Each nanite is tiny and simple, but together they can take apart and rebuild anything. The main Arxian fleet, seeing their stealth ships disabled so easily, pulled back to regroup near Jupiter's moons. They had expected to find a primitive planet with simple defenses. Instead, they had run into technology that made some of their best systems look outdated. Catherine brought up a new display, showing the status of Project Aegis's other hidden weapons. This was just a demonstration, Admiral. We haven't even shown them our real capabilities yet. The quantum torpedoes? Henderson asked quietly. She nodded. And the dimensional shift drives, the AI-guided drone swarms, the temporal defense fields. We've had decades to prepare, studying every science fiction story humans ever wrote and turning them into reality. Through the quantum communications network, they could detect the Arxian ships sending urgent messages back to the Galactic Council. Catherine allowed herself a small smile as she imagined their reports. Humans weren't the primitive species they had expected. Earth wasn't an easy target for conquest. They'll be back, Admiral Henderson said, studying the tactical displays. And next time they'll bring a bigger fleet. Let them come, Catherine replied, activating another set of hidden defense platforms. Humanity has always been at its best when faced with a challenge. We've spent our whole history preparing for this moment, even when we didn't know it was coming. She looked at the wall of her office, where an old quote from a 20th century scientist hung. The universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it is stranger than we can imagine. Well, she said quietly, the universe is about to find out just how strange and wonderful human imagination can be. Above them, hidden in plain sight, Earth's real defense fleet waited. Ships that could vanish from reality itself, weapons that could reshape space and time, and technologies that even the Galactic Council, with its 1,000 worlds, had never dreamed possible. The hidden arsenal of humanity was awake, and it was ready to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate human ingenuity. Commander C. Martinez stood on the bridge of the U.S. Hyperion, hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Europa. His ship was Earth's newest stealth destroyer, and right now, it was about to face its first real combat test. Enemy fleet approaching, sir, reported Linda Ross, his sensor officer, counting 37 Arxian warships. They're moving in attack formation. Scene watched the tactical display with calm eyes. The Arxian ships were impressive, each one bigger than anything humanity had built in space. But size wasn't everything. Status of our stealth systems, he asked. Quantum shift is stable, Linda answered. We're completely out of phase with normal spacetime. They can't see us, sir. The Hyperion's bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. Unlike the flashy alien ships, human vessels were built for stealth and efficiency. No wasted space, no dramatic lighting, just pure function. Battle Eye Online, reported Steve Chen, the combat systems officer. It's analyzing their movement patterns now. Scene nodded. Show me what they're planning. The holographic display lit up with projected paths of the Arxian fleet. The AI had studied every piece of data from their previous encounters and predicted their tactics with incredible accuracy. They're going to split their fleet, Scene said, watching the projection. Try to catch Earth's defenses in a crossfire. Pretty standard stuff. His crew smiled. They knew what was coming next. Time to show them how humans fight, Scene said. Signal the other ships. Execute Battle Plan Delta. Across the Jupiter system, 5 other human stealth destroyers powered up their engines. Like the Hyperion, they had been hiding in plain sight, waiting for this moment. The Arxian fleet moved closer to Earth, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. They had no idea they were already surrounded. All ships in position, Steve reported. Ready on your command. Scene took a deep breath. Begin Phase 1. The Hyperion's quantum engines hummed to life. Unlike normal engines that pushed against space, these ones slipped between the fabric of reality itself. The ship moved without moving, appearing instantly at new coordinates. Target locked on their command ship, Linda said. Fire. The Hyperion's main weapon wasn't a laser or a plasma cannon. It was something much simpler and much more clever. A beam of focused quantum particles that forced anything it hit back into normal spacetime. The Arxian flagship suddenly became visible to all their sensors, its stealth systems completely useless. The alien ship's crew barely had time to realize what had happened before the rest of the human fleet struck. 5 more quantum beams lashed out from different directions. In seconds, the proud Arxian battle fleet found itself exposed, their advanced cloaking technology rendered worthless. Phase 2, Scene ordered calmly. The battle AI took over the Hyperion's movement systems. The ship danced through space in ways that should have been impossible, avoiding every shot the panicked Arxians fired. "They're trying to adapt their shields," Steve reported, watching the sensor data. "But they can't figure out how we're targeting them." Scene allowed himself a small smile. "That's because they're looking for technology they understand. Launch the nanite swarms." Clouds of microscopic robots poured from the human ships. To Arxian sensors, they looked like simple debris. But these tiny machines were about to change the course of the battle. The nanites swarmed over the alien vessels, slipping through their shield frequencies. They didn't try to destroy the ships. They did something far more elegant. They simply reprogrammed the Arxians' own systems. "Hostile ships are losing power," Linda reported with satisfaction. "Their weapons are going offline. Engines are shutting down." On the main viewer, Scene watched as the mighty Arxian fleet drifted helplessly in space. Their ships were intact, but completely useless. "Send the message," he ordered. Steve transmitted their prepared statement. "This is Commander Scene Martins of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your ships have been disabled. You are now under our control. Stand down and prepare to be boarded." The response was immediate and angry. The Arxian fleet commander's face appeared on their screen, his blue skin dark with rage. "This is impossible," he snarled through the translator. "You're nothing but primitives. How dare you?" Scene cut the transmission. "They still don't get it, do they?" His crew shook their heads. The Arxians, like many advanced civilizations, had become set in their ways. They thought technology could only develop along certain paths. The idea that humans might have found different ways to solve the same problems had never occurred to them. "Sir," Linda called out suddenly, "I'm detecting quantum distortions. 3 more Arxian fleets just jumped into the system." Scene wasn't worried. If anything, he was pleased. More ships meant more chances to demonstrate why challenging Earth had been a very bad idea. "Alert Defense Command," he ordered. "Tell them Phase 3 can begin." As he spoke, hundreds of hidden defense platforms across the solar system powered up. Earth's real fleet, not the decoys they'd been showing the aliens, but the true extent of human military power, prepared to reveal itself. "You know," Scene said to his crew as they prepared for the next round of battle, "I almost feel sorry for them. They came here expecting to find easy prey. Instead, they found humanity." The Hyperion's quantum engines powered up again as the ship prepared to meet the new threat. Around them, the disabled Arxian ships could only watch as humanity's hidden arsenal went to work. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly what they could do. "All ships," Scene broadcast to the human fleet, "execute Battle Plan Omega. Let's show them why you don't pick a fight with Earth." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries, not for its destruction or death toll. In fact, not a single ship on either side was destroyed. Instead, it would be remembered as the day the Galactic Council learned that humans had quietly become the most technologically advanced species in known space. And they had done it not through conquest or theft of technology, but through something uniquely human: the ability to imagine solutions that no one else had thought possible. As Scene watched his ships dance through space, disabled alien vessels floating harmlessly in their wake, he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn a lot more about humanity, and he had a feeling they weren't going to like most of it. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council sparkled with light reflecting off its crystal walls. Representatives from 1,000 worlds sat in rising tiers, all watching the heated debate unfold below. At the center of attention stood Krenfel, a younger council member from the peaceful Meridian species, his green scales shimmering with determination. "The attack on Earth was not authorized by this council," Krenfel said, his voice clear and strong. "The Arxian leadership acted alone, and their actions have brought us to the brink of a war we cannot win." Murmurs filled the chamber. On the main display, images from the Battle of Jupiter played out. The gathered representatives watched in stunned silence as Earth's advanced ships systematically disabled an entire Archean battle fleet without destroying a single vessel. Ambassador Lisa Brooks sat quietly in the observers section, representing Earth at these proceedings. She kept her face neutral, but inside she felt proud of how humanity had handled the situation. "This is propaganda," shouted Zeekstall, the same Archean ambassador who had first visited Earth. "These humans have somehow tricked us. They cannot possibly have such advanced technology." Krenfel held up a data crystal. "I have proof that the Archean High Command knew about Earth's defensive capabilities before they launched their attack. They knew, and they attacked anyway, hoping to steal this technology for themselves." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Lisa watched as several council members changed the colors of their voting crystals. The tide was turning. "If I may speak," Lisa said, standing up. As an observer, she needed special permission to address the council. After a moment's discussion, they granted it. "Earth has no desire for war," she began, looking around the chamber. "We built our defenses because we hoped for peace but prepared for conflict. It's what humans have always done." She walked to the center of the chamber, joining Krenfel. "We know that many of you fear us now. You see our technology and wonder what else we might be hiding. Let me be clear, we hide our strengths not out of deception, but out of wisdom." The main display changed to show Earth's solar system. "We developed differently from your civilizations. While you focused on expansion, we focused on protection. While you shared technology freely, we kept our innovations hidden until they were needed. Not because we don't trust others, but because we understand the responsibility that comes with power." A new figure appeared on the council floor, Admiral Henderson, transmitted as a hologram from Earth. "We could have destroyed those Archean ships," he said simply. "Instead, we disabled them and sent their crews home safely. That should tell you everything you need to know about humanity's intentions." The chamber fell silent. The Admiral's words hit home. Earth had shown both incredible power and incredible restraint. Krenfel seized the moment. "I move that we formally investigate the Archean leadership's actions. Furthermore, I propose we establish new protocols for first contact situations with Earth's help." The voting crystals began to glow. Around the chamber, colors shifted as members made their choices. Lisa watched carefully, counting the votes in her head. Suddenly, Zeekstall stood up. "If you do this," he warned, "the Archean Empire will consider it an act of war." "No," came a new voice. Everyone turned to see High Counselor Vextra, the Archean's own senior representative, entering the chamber. "We will not." Zeekstall's skin turned pale blue with shock. "High Counselor, I have seen the evidence," Vextra said, her voice carrying through the chamber. "A faction within our military, led by you and others, deliberately provoked this conflict. You will stand trial for your actions." Guards moved to surround Zeekstall. The disgraced ambassador's skin flickered through patterns of blue as he realized his plans had completely fallen apart. Lisa exchanged glances with Krenfel. Their weeks of quiet diplomacy, sharing evidence and building alliances, had paid off. The truth was finally coming out. "There is another matter we must address," High Counselor Vextra continued. "The humans have proven themselves to be far more advanced than we assumed. Their place in the galaxy must be reconsidered." The council members nodded in agreement. The humans had demonstrated not just advanced technology, but wisdom in how they used it. That combination demanded respect. "Perhaps," Krenfel suggested, "it is time we learned from Earth, rather than trying to conquer it." Lisa stepped forward again. "We are willing to share some of our advances, under the right conditions. But first, we need to establish trust. Real trust, based on mutual respect and understanding." The council chamber buzzed with excited discussion. The idea that humans might share their quantum shift technology, their advanced AI systems, or their nanite engineering was enough to make even the most conservative members reconsider their positions. We will need time, Lisa continued, to build proper relationships, to learn to work together as equals. But Earth is ready to take its place in the galactic community, not as a subject world, but as a full partner. The voting crystals glowed brighter. One by one, council members registered their support for Krenfel's proposals. The investigation would proceed. New first contact protocols would be developed, and Earth would help shape them. As the session ended, Lisa sent a message back to Earth. Phase 4 complete. The Council is turning. Diplomatic victory within reach. She looked around the Grand Chamber one last time before leaving. The galaxy's power structure had just shifted dramatically, and hardly a shot had been fired. It was a very human victory, winning through preparation, innovation, and clever diplomacy rather than brute force. The real work was just beginning. Building trust would take time. Sharing technology would require careful negotiation. But humanity had proven itself ready for the challenge. As Lisa walked out of the chamber with Krenfel, she smiled. "You know," she said, "humans have a saying. The pen is mightier than the sword." The Meridian looked confused. "I don't understand. How can a writing tool be stronger than a weapon?" "It means," Lisa explained, "that sometimes the most powerful victories are won not through fighting, but through words and wisdom." Looking at the results they had achieved today, she couldn't think of a better example. Dr. John Mitchell adjusted his tie as he prepared to address the full Galactic Council. The massive chamber was packed with representatives from every known spacefaring civilization. This was humanity's moment to reshape the future of galactic politics. Behind him stood the team that had helped Earth survive its first contact crisis. Lieutenant Amy Carter, who had first spotted the Arxians' hostile intentions. Catherine Walsh, the genius behind Earth's advanced defense systems. Commander Sean Martinez, hero of the Jupiter battle. And Ambassador Lisa Brooks, who had helped turn the political tide. "Members of the Council," John began, his voice calm and clear. "Today we're here to discuss not just Earth's place in the galaxy, but the future of all our civilizations." The chamber's holographic displays came to life, showing images of Earth's history, not just the recent space battles, but the long journey that had led humanity to this point. "You see us as newcomers to space," John continued, "but we've been preparing for this moment for centuries. Every story we told about aliens, every movie we made about space travel, every dream we had about the stars, they all helped us get ready." He showed them scenes from old science fiction movies, then compared them to the real technologies Earth had developed. The similarities made many council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. "We didn't just imagine these things," John explained. "We worked to make them real. While you watched our primitive rocket tests and assumed we were struggling with basic spaceflight, we were actually testing quantum shift drives and temporal shields." The displays showed Earth's hidden shipyards, now revealed to the galaxy. Advanced vessels that could slip between dimensions, weapons that could disable rather than destroy, defensive systems that could protect entire planets. "But technology isn't what makes humanity special," John said. "What makes us unique is how we think about progress." He gestured to Catherine Walsh, who stepped forward with a small device. "This is a quantum communicator," she explained. "It can send messages instantly across any distance. We developed it decades ago, but we kept it hidden. Not because we wanted to deceive anyone, but because we understood its power." The council members leaned forward, interested. Instant communication across space would change everything. "We're ready to share this technology," John announced, along with many others. "But first, we need to establish new rules for how technology is shared and used throughout the galaxy." Ambassador Brooks stepped up next, holding the draft of a new treaty. "We call it the Terra Accords," she said. "A new framework for technological development and sharing among all civilizations." The main points appeared on the chamber's displays. All species have the right to develop at their own pace. First contact must be peaceful and respectful. Technology sharing must be mutual and controlled. Weapons development must be balanced with peaceful applications. Every civilization has the right to defend itself. High Counselor Vextra stood up. These terms are unusual. You would have us change how we've done things for thousands of years. Yes, John replied simply. Because the old way nearly led us to war. We're offering a better path forward. Lieutenant Carter brought up images from the Jupiter battle. We could have destroyed those ships, she reminded them. Instead, we chose to disable them. That's the kind of thinking we want to encourage. The council chamber buzzed with discussion. Some members were clearly excited by the prospect of accessing Earth's advanced technology. Others seemed worried about the changes these new rules would bring. Commander Martinez stepped forward. Let me be clear, he said. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to control other civilizations. We just want to make sure that technology is used wisely. John took over again. Think about it. Every advancement we've shown you. Quantum shifting, nanite engineering, AI integration. They all came from human imagination. What other wonders might be out there, waiting to be discovered by civilizations that think differently from us? The council members looked at each other. The idea that they might have missed whole branches of possible technology development was both exciting and humbling. We propose creating a new division within the council, John continued. The Department of Alternative Technologies. Its job will be to explore different approaches to scientific advancement, drawing on the unique perspectives of all our civilizations. Lisa stepped forward with more details. Each member world will be encouraged to pursue its own path of technological development. We'll share discoveries, but also respect the right of each civilization to progress at its own pace. The voting crystals around the chamber began to glow. One by one, council members registered their positions. Remember, John said as they voted, humanity didn't develop these technologies because we wanted to conquer anyone. We did it because we wanted to protect ourselves and our home. That's something every civilization can understand. The final vote was overwhelming. The Terra Accords would become galactic law. Earth would join the council not as a junior member, but as a full partner with unique expertise to share. As the session ended, John looked at his team. They had done it. Humanity had not only survived its first contact with alien civilization, it had helped reshape galactic society for the better. What happens now? Amy asked as they left the chamber. John smiled. Now the real work begins. We have a galaxy of possibilities to explore, and this time, we'll do it together. Outside the council chamber, representatives from dozens of worlds were already lining up to discuss technology sharing agreements with Earth. But humanity would take it slow, making sure each advancement was used wisely. They had learned long ago that with great power came great responsibility. Now they would teach that lesson to the stars. The age of human innovation was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same.